Where are you from? This is a question everyone gets, and it's pretty straightforward. Where do you live? Where were you born? What's your ethnicity? There's a bunch of answers for this icebreaker question. But for me, it's different.
Being from New York, I enjoy the food.
New York is very accessible. There's buses, trains.
No matter which direction you go, you can always find, whether it be West Indian food, the deli, get a hero sandwich. A lot of different cultures come together to make excellent tasting food.
I appreciate the diversity, how nobody is the same there. Everybody has a different story. Everybody has something different about them.
But particularly, I love living in Brooklyn. It's the best borough. It's cultured. New York is New York. It's like a melting pot. It's the best city in the United States, in my opinion.
I was born in Brooklyn, New York in 2007 and lived there until August of 2019. Being from New York is a very important part of my identity, as the people and the culture raised me and made me who I am today. Most of my family and I lived in Ebbets Field, the baseball field turned apartment complex that Jackie Robinson played on for the Brooklyn Dodgers. Before my great-grandma ran away to Brooklyn, New York, she lived in this soulful Virginia with the rest of my family. Some of them lived in North Carolina as well.
So our family, well, my grandmother and my grandfather, they were born and raised in Virginia. And then my grandmother, when she turned 18, she knew she wanted to come to New York City. So they came up to New York. And then you have family members that came to New York and then went back down to North Carolina. Like they lived there. And then they just started their families from there. But I would say the majority of our family is from Virginia.
My family is African American, which makes up about 13.6% of my country's population, according to the U.S. Census. African Americans are the descendants of African slaves brought over during the transatlantic slave trade. They were robbed of their culture and fed a new one, but also created one of their own from their experiences and what they had. And that's why it's so meaningful to so many people like me.
We always survive, no matter what obstacles is thrown our ways. We continue to push forward.
African American culture, we're very diverse, we're very unique.
We're relentless, we're leaders, we're thought-provoking.
Okay, so my grandmother's mother, I knew her. You know, I would go down to Virginia and we would see her when I was younger. But anybody before her, I didn't know. Now, my grandfather's side, we were a little closer to his side of the family. So I knew his parents and I knew of his parents' parents. I knew of them, but I didn't know them. But it was more talked about about my grandfather's family than my grandmother's family. But I don't know anything about them. Like I couldn't tell you really anything. I did do ancestry, and I did come across people that from earlier generations, but I don't know anything about them.
Attempting to trace my family lineage for this documentary was a challenge since there's not a lot of information in the database I've searched, and a lot of my older family are estranged or passed away. I, however, was able to find an unknown sibling on my dad's side. Still, I was unable to trace anyone further than my great-grandmother, which is a goal me and my mom have tried to reach for the past year. Documenting things like people's ancestry and history has proved to be so important, and that's why we have the textbooks and the memorabilia that we have today. It is so easy for history to become erased and forgotten if not properly cared for. And it hurts entire groups of people like us when others have no real choice but to remain ignorant on who we are and where we come from. African American culture is all around us, and it is ingrained into countless aspects of everyone's lives, especially with the rise of pop culture, yet the people who indulge in these cultures have no idea of everything that is lost.
I think what I appreciate the most about our culture is how colorful it is, how we make everything a little bit I don't know, better. I feel like we make things funnier. We make things more colorful. We have a deep love for our culture, and it comes through in everything. The way we dress, the way we do our hair, the jokes we tell. I just think that we just put an extra sauce on everything that we do.